Hello and welcome to another video of Candid Answers and Questions. My name's Farah and this is my channel. So what was it like growing up as a British Asian teenager in the early 1980s? In the late 1970s and early 80s you had like the punk culture, so I grew up with bands like Madness and Boomtown Rats and Blondie. I was a big Blondie fan, I still am. I used to be absolutely crazy about Queen, loved Queen. I think growing up, being a teenager, it's a difficult time anyway, but as a British Asian, we were like the first Asians growing up in Britain, and it created a new set of problems which people didn't really understand, and it was hard because it was like you didn't belong to your parents' culture because you weren't typically Pakistani. You didn't have that mentality, and at the same time you couldn't fully mix with your Muslim friends because you were Muslim, and there were so many things you didn't do. Like, you didn't go to discos and parties. We didn't drink alcohol. What happened is, I think a lot of young Pakistanis, they turned to their faith, and they began to practice it in a way that their parents didn't, and they called themselves British Muslims, and that's how they found their identity. As a teenager, I actually used to be a very depressed teenager, and I suffered quite badly from lack of confidence and very low self-esteem. For a while I had very low self-esteem. I used to be absolutely crazy about the pop group Queen, and when you're crazy about band, it's not just, when you listen to the music, it's not just something with a funky beat. It's like the words of the songs, they mean something to you. And growing up as a teenager, sometimes it just felt as if the only person who understood me was Freddie Mercury. I did actually tweet Brian May. I said, as one does, "Brian May, I love you," but he didn't reply. I was also crazy about Culture Club, and as you can see here, it's my autographed photo of Boy George. Being a very, very depressed teenager, I wasn't a very good eater either. You know, I went down to about 6.5 stone when I was a teenager, and I used to use art and music as a kind of therapy. It was very therapeutic, and I persuaded my mum and dad to buy me a piano, a second-hand piano, and I started to learn on that. I didn't have lessons. I was self-taught. I was really into making music, and it was very therapeutic.